Yo, it's your boy Blix. This is my first time doing a YouTube trade recap. Usually these videos are exceptionally just for my VIP members on my Discord, but I'm being a little generous today. I'm going to start doing more of this, free educational content for trade recaps on YouTube. So it's currently 7:23 p.m. We ended up catching this trade this morning around 8:30. No, it was actually so around like 9, going into 10:30 a.m. this morning. So yeah, this was the A plus setup. I just kind of walk you through what I saw, why I took the trade, what my thought process was like. So if you're new around here, my name is Blake. Don't forget to check out my Instagram below, my community below. I give out 1 to 2 free trades every week from my community. Because to be part of the VIP members, but all the same, I would love to share you guys, what I end up seeing today. So going into the morning, 8:30 end up opening up. Here we have NQ put up, known as QQQ if you're trade options. So NQ end up opening up this morning. We had a nice pump here at 8:02. 8:30 end up opening around this time. Currently on replay mode, just kind of like show y'all what I end up seeing. So 8:30 end up opening up. This one end up getting to the charts around 8:30. That's when I walk into my computer. So playing at the chart right now, we end up seeing 8:30 end up opening up. This is what we end up seeing. We had a huge displacement in price, and obviously I didn't want to be part of this because I felt like it was too late. On second thing, there was no good reason why, there was no conviction built up why I should take this trade. Again, I could have hopped into it, but I choose not to. I'd rather just catch the dump, and that's what I did. So yeah, so looking at a 4-hour time frame here on NQ, we see that all-time high is resting up the way up here. We had resting buy side at these highs, right? So we had buy side here. Price end up opening up, as you can see, that 8:30. Gotta go back here to the 1 minute time frame, guys. Give me a second here. Let's reset this chart. I might want to go back a little bit. So yeah, 8:24 here, right? Price end up opening up. I'm gonna play this a little bit more slower here so we don't get too overwhelmed. But price end up opening up. 8:30 end up opening up. Gonna play price here real quick. So that's a little slow. Let's go a little 5x here. Okay. 8:28, 8:30. Price opens up. What do we see resting above? We have all the way up here, we have buy side sitting up here, right? And obviously what I was looking for, if we had to drop here to the 10-minute time frame, actually, let's reset the chart. We have buy sides resting above, and obviously looking at this, I can already tell where price is most likely heading to. The drawn liquidity is buy side. I wanted to see buy side get taken again. I do trade watching 2 charts, MQ and ES. So let's go back here on the 10-minute time frame here on ES as well. What do we see resting above? Buy side as well. We have buy side resting above here. Let's mark that up real quick. So side by side comparison, we see MES, also known as SPY, and NQ on the right. And so with that huge displacement, as you can see, NQ was leading and SPY was lagging behind. So initially I saw that these highs got taken. As you can see, the same highs. These highs got taken. NQ ended up taking this buy side liquidity, and ES did not. So essentially, I had SMT. I wanted to see that the SMT here was going to hold. Based on how price was pushing, I wanted to see if price was going to end up dropping from here or not. So this is basically what I was looking at when I was watching the charts. I wanted to see if this SMT holds. It ended up not holding. You all see in a minute. But in the moment in time, around that time, I wanted to see if this SMT will hold bearish, or if the actual draw was the ultimate high up here, which was buy side, and that's why I'm expecting to see an SMT put in, and then we end up targeting resting sell side for this play. So moving on here to let's move down to the 1 minute time frame real quick on both of these charts, and then we can look just play out the trades out real quick. All right. So obviously here on QQQ, buy side already got taken. I wanted to see if this SMT was gonna hold. Playing out a trade here, as you can see, QQQ ended up taking out these highs. SPY was lagging behind for a little bit. I was trying to see if this SMT was gonna hold. I wanted to see if buy side get taken. Once this buy side gets taken on MES, I'll be more confident that this SMT was gonna hold bearish anymore. Then my next target was to see if buy side gets taken, right? So we end up playing out. And then eventually this SMT ended up not holding. As you can see, we end up playing out, right? So actually something happened here. Okay, so this replay stuff is kind of like crazy. All right, so what ended up happening? I'm gonna go back a bar here. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Okay, so both on these charts, what are we seeing? First of all, this SMT end up not holding here on ES, but NQ end up displacing higher and taking out those highs. I'm gonna reduce the replay mode to like 1, so that way it's not overly just playing out crazy here. Again, like I told you, we have buy side racing above here, and then we had buy side rating above here. So now ultimately the draw was for QQQ. QQQ was displacing higher a lot quicker than MES was. So what I wanted to see is that I want to see QQQ displace higher, take out these highs, and I want to see MES displace but lag and don't take out these highs. So I want to see that SMT divergence holding bearish, so that way I could capitalize on this move, right? So what ended up happening is price end up displacing. We have some nice moves here. This 1x is kind of slow. Let's go 3x real quick. All right, what ended up happening? Let's go back this bar again. Let's look at QQQ, right? Let's look at QQQ real quick. Take out this SMT. QQQ end up taking out this high, and they have taken out all-time highs. Meanwhile, ES lagged behind. ES didn't take out these highs, right? ES tried to take out these highs, it did not, and ES lagged by a margin to take out all-time high. So if I end up playing on this chart, it's going a little bit too quick. As you can see, ES end up came back to these highs, tagged it a little bit. At this point, we have an SMT divergence at these highs, right? These highs, because NQ end up taking out these highs, right? I'm going to reduce the speed to 1 here, and let's see what happens. Okay, so these highs end up getting taken on NQ. What do we have? We have an SMT divergence on these highs, and we have an SMT divergence on MES here, right? This is exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to see a lack of bullish order flow on one of these pairs, so that way I could capture these shorts to the downside. Correct? So let's look at NQ real quick. Playing on 1x, obviously. Okay, so we end up getting a displacement here. NQ end up taking out this high screen at SMT, right? Let's go back down to the 1 minute. I actually want to show you something specifically. I need to go back to the 1 minute here. Let's go back to the 1 minute on both of these charts, so y'all could show you something very important. All right, so zooming on both of these charts, right? What I end up seeing, what was the conviction that was built up for me to take the shorts today? What was the main conviction? I'm going to zoom in here already. Obviously, we know that SMT's on the highs already. You know, NQ ended up taking out these highs. ES did not, because we're about from here to here was about 30% move before ES ended up catching up, taking out those highs, which is a huge margin. So that's a good sign of price manipulation, of us going bearish and going to the downside. Right now, the main reason why this I become an A++ setup is because of the lack of order flow. Right, so what ended up happening? We end up getting bought up here on NQ. NQ end up tracing a little bit. We're trying to take out those all-time highs. We end up displacing, and there we go. Here was our displacement. This is where the SMT was put in. If we go into the 10-minute time frame, we could see buy side get taken here. And obviously, if I was to look here on the 4-hour, we can see that price has displaced and taking out this all-time highs on the 4-hour. Now that I have this this higher time frame SMT put in, let's go back here to the 1 minute. Now the main thing I really saw, right, is that in the moment, right, as you can see, this SMT is still holding bearish, right? In the moment, let's zoom in here for these. In the moment, what do you see? What do you see? Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. What happened after this candle? Look at this candle very specifically. This candle right here. What happened? Let's play it again. We might have to play a little bit slower, like 0.5x here. What ended up happening? Okay, we took the highs, right? NQ didn't even take this buy side. I mean, it wicked it, it swept it, correct? SMT's on the highs, right? As you can see, let's play this. NQ kept getting bought up. See this candle? Is the same candle. This candle is bullish, and this candle is bearish. This is lack of order flow. Now, buy side resting. So this is buy side. So we have internal buy side put in right here. So this is internal buy side. And this is the same internal buy side. What do we have? Internal buy side get taken out here on NQ. And internal buy side is still intact on ES. So although we have the higher time frame SMT playing around, playing in our favor, but we also have internal SMT being played as well. This is what I call model stacking, right? If you guys are in my community, you know what I trade. I trade a forever model, and obviously with my own twist with it, which I call the Blix model. But in this case, buy side got swept on NQ. The same buy side is still intact. What does that give us? Another SMT. We have another SMT within the main SMT. So in that case, our change in the state on the 1 minute, or if we're to go into 5 minute, it's still this close up candles here. Now, I like to total soup a lot, so I like to catch the move a lot earlier than usual. So the initial change in the state would be at this up close candles here. This is what we're going to looking for, a change in the state of delivery. But again, I wanted to really see what's happening here. While NQ was being bought up at all-time highs, ES was dumping. That's a clear sign of manipulation. If y'all want to know how to catch manipulation, this is it. That's a clear sign of manipulation. All right, so continuing with the replay, let's see what ended up happening. Boom. Rejection, right? What do we have? Internal SMT put in on these highs. I'm going to put it up real quick. Internal SMT put in when we have the higher time frame bias SMT as well. So we have the higher time frame SMT playing in our favor, and within it we have an internal SMT put in, right? So on NQ state, we got buy side taken, signifying lack of bullish order flow, right? So in this case, I'm waiting to see QQQ have a change in the state at this lows, and also I'm also waiting to see this fair value gap get ran through. So I was also keeping an eye of this candle. Just another change in the state here on QQQ. I wanted to see one price displace lower here and also take out this gap. Now, once that was a good confirmation, but I've already entered this trade way sooner on ES because I was trading ES at this time. Since NQ is being bought up faster, ES is gonna dump a lot faster. So the higher probability pair to trade is ES. NQ is still gonna dump, but it's not gonna dump as fast as ES would, right? So after we had our internal SMT put in, signifying lack of bullish order flow, I end up taking the trade at this gap. This is why I end up entering the trade. I end up going short here because I went in for price. Because what I was seeing, right, stop at a recent high. I saw NQ being bought up and NQ end up dumping, right? So I was like, okay, if price end up tapping back to this gap, this is what I'm going to end up entering my trades. I end up going short at this fair value gap, and I end up having multiple take profit levels as we're going down, right? So now, playing out the trade, let's see what ended up happening, right? Let's go back to 1x here. Okay, so now we have a confirmed change in the state on ES. So this gave me a lot of confidence where price is going to be. We end up chopping for a little bit, but this gave me a lot of confidence, right? So now, what were my take profit levels? Once I saw, oops, I end up going to gold here. Let's go to MES. Let's zoom in here on MES real quick. Let's take this out. Once I saw our displacement, once I saw our change in the state was holding bearish, lack of bullish order flow at NQ again getting bought up, SPY end up dumping, signifying manipulation. I end up calling out a trade here. I end up calling the SPY puts. Like I told you, I end up getting in that gap. This is the trade that I end up calling out on SPY. So as you can see, my take profit level, first TP was here, second TP was this low, and then ultimate TP was at pre-market lows. And that's kind of where price end up dumping from and then reversing from there. So your entries or your exits are very important, very important, right? So let's leave SPY chart and go back to the futures chart here, and let's go back here on MES, right? So as you can see, my first take profit level was around here, which was about 50% of that entire range. So I was like, okay, if price is gonna hold bullish, then I would like my first take profit level to be at equilibrium. So market opened at 830, so that was from this low, 830 to this high. That means equilibrium is right here. So that means if price was to reject and continue higher, then I should get out of take profit 1, and then price will continue higher. Now, if price was going to continue lower, then I want to see the fib level get disrespected, and I'll be more confident I'm going to see TP2 and TP3, right? So hence that's why I had TP1 at this lows. So I have my TP1 here, and I have my TP2 obviously at this lows, as you all see from that previous chart, and I had ultimate TP3 at pre-market lows, all the way down here, I believe. We'll see if I get it right. So I'm gonna go back to my SPY chart here, and I have TP3 all the way at this lows. Right? Let's go back here. Okay, so obviously now my take profit target is all the way down here. Going back into the chart. While this is happening, I'm also watching NQ, because what am I looking for? I want to see NQ run this 5-minute gap. I want to see this gap get ran through on NQ. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. We have this 5-minute gap sitting right here. This is trouble. I wanted to see this gap get ran through, and that will give me confidence. That will give me confidence on where price is going, and that will give me where the absolutely drawn liquidity is. Because if we look at a 4-hour time frame on this, right, I'm expecting price to retrace all the way back down to this 4-hour gap, and then that's probably where I'm going to be seeing some bullish order flow. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to capture this whole entire dump, right? So going back to the 1-minute time frame here on replay, right? Let's watch these two trades side by side and just watch how ES is dumping a lot faster than NQ is, right? So playing this out, as you can see, price ended up retracing back to that gap, got tagged in, right? Actually, I was wrong. I actually got tagged at this gap, you know. So you could have got the first entry here, second entry here, stop at this SMT high, stop at this SMT candle right here, but you get the gist. So I end up entering here because looking at SPY, yeah, it was at this gap. So I end up getting in here, which is like around here. So we end up getting tagged there. As you can see, NQ end up dumping. Again, I want to see that 5-minute gap get ran through. Let's play this out. We had another retest back to our change in the state. Price was chopping for a little bit. I saw how price was holding bearish for really. I saw how we were respecting that area. I was okay. I was building more conviction why price should go lower. After the chop, we had a significant displacement on price, as you can see. Let me tell my indicators real quick. Okay, well now we're approaching this gap that I wanted to see get inversed. Again, I was doing this trade. Price was chopping for a little bit, and the next thing we saw was a significant giraffe candle to the downside, just like that. And just before TP1 got smacked, before I know it, that 5-minute gap I was talking about at NQ got inversed, and that gave me confidence where price was going to, which is that 4-hour gap. And that's kind of where I was expecting price to start to hold bullish. Hence why my last take profit level was at that level, which was TP3. Go back into the charts here on the 1-minute time frame on NQ. What ended up happening? TP1 got smacked. Here's a screenshot of me calling out to my signal group here. I'm gonna go here on Discord real quick and kind of show you guys how I end up calling out this trade. Show y'all real quick. Here on day trades, I end up calling out this trade here. I was like SPY 623 puts, give them the levels. Here were the levels. I end up getting in here. TP1 end up getting smacked. We end up having a continuation after TP1 got smacked. TP2 got smacked. And TP3 got smacked. And this one end up exiting the trade. Beautiful A+ trade. This is a beautiful, beautiful trade. Going back into the charts, as you can see, playing on this trade real quick. TP2 got smacked here. And you can see how, if you look at these respective candles, right? You see how ES is dumping faster? Because if you look at this candle down here, NQ hasn't gone there yet. So this is why you trade the faster ticker. When you see that SMT. Now, the faster ticker to the downside is the ticker that didn't end up taking that high. So in this case, ES didn't take the all-time high. NQ did. So therefore, when it dumps, ES is gonna dump faster, and NQ is gonna lag behind. I'm stuttering my words here. Right, and I'm gonna show y'all the model playing out again after this whole entire model played. There was another model that got played on the 1-hour time frame. I'm gonna show you guys that as well. But I didn't take this, but this was a bullish model that played out. After this trade, I was kind of done for the day, so I wasn't really trying to trade anymore. But it's kind of crazy how the Blix model plays out significantly every time. It's crazy. All right, so back to the trade. What ended up happening? TP2 got smacked. What do we see? We end up displacing lower, a little bit of rejection here. We end up retracing a little bit back to equilibrium of that range. We end up going lower. And I think this is where TP3 got smacked. We have a little bit of rejection, more rejection to the downside. We ended up rejecting lower. TP3 got smacked, and that was kind of the end of the trade, right? Beautiful, beautiful. There was convictions built out throughout the whole entire trade. Like, everything was played out perfectly. The entry was perfect, the exits were perfect, and the partials taken on each take profit levels were perfect, right? Now, what was I talking about when price ended up holding bullish after TP3 getting taken out? Now, let's go back to, let's look at both of these charts on the 1 hour time frame, right? Let's look at a 1 hour time frame. What do we see down here? We see a gap. We see a gap. What ended up happening? Look at this candle. Look at this candle. We had a higher time frame FEG gap. ES ended up coming down, tagging into that gap, creating a bullish SMT, right? What did NQ do? Same candle, no tag on this gap, creating a bullish SMT. This is a lack of bearish order flow. This is lack of bearish order flow. Once you identify a higher time frame SMT, you're gonna go down to the 5-minute time frame, and this is where you're waiting for your change in the state, right? So once that SMT was put in, I'm gonna go ahead and finish playing at this trade. I want to see if we end up going lower, but let's see if we end up holding bullish here. I think we end up going lower. I don't think we end up going lower. Yeah, this is where we end up holding bullish for a little bit. We end up going lower. There we go. And then we end up displacing from there. Perfect. So now, once you have a 1 hour SMT, 4 hour SMT, 2 hour SMT, you want to drop down to the 5-minute, and this is where we're waiting for change in the state, right? This is where you're waiting for a change in the state. I want to see price hold bullish here, right? Same goes with NQ2. Check the 5-minute time frame. We're waiting for that change in the state. As you can see, NQ did end up printing faster. Again, I told you, you trade the ticker that didn't take that low. In this case, which ticker didn't take out this sell side? So we have sell side intact here, right? Let's go back to the 1 minute time frame on ES here. So we end up taking this low. So let's zoom out. Same low. Look on the right. Look over here. Same low. So sell side get taken out, right? So we have sell side getting taken out. So therefore, if ES takes sell side, so ES is gonna lag behind when we're printing up. That's why NQ is printing faster to the upside, because when we're dumping, ES was printing faster, right? So in this case, the change in the state already happened faster. So assuming we're trading NQ here, the change in the state would have been here, right? This up close, 3 up close body candles right here, right? This is where one price to hold bullish. You could go long here, stop at the recent low, the SMT low, and you can low-key target buy side liquidity, which is all the way to all-time highs here, right? And this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting price to hold bullish, at least take out those highs for tomorrow before I frame a trade for tomorrow, being Tuesday. But this is another model played out perfectly after this model ended up playing out. So you could have caught both sides, honestly. So what ended up happening? Let's play this out. ES ended up holding bullish. We're on the 5-minute here. Let's go on the 1 minute so we can watch both of these play out. Again, we went long here on the change in the state. Let's go a little faster, shall we? Again, we end up kind of like having a little retracement. Had a little dump. As you can see, we respected that gap. This was kind of price retracing back to this gap on the change in the state. But anyways, price did hold bullish at this point. We had an inducement candle, which is this dump here, and then that's when we end up holding bullish, and then price just end up printing from there. I could see we had a little retest back to this gap, but again, it's back to that inducement candle again, just kind of retesting price, and it end up holding bullish from there. So either way, you wouldn't be stopped out. The trade would have played out perfectly. Again, this model is not going to be picture perfect, but the concept is the same all throughout. We end up chopping for a little bit. I know we chopped for a while, and then as you can see, we're still chopping around that change in the state. You know what I'm saying? We're chopping around that change in the state. Here, as you can see, buy side got taken here at NQ, and ES is lagging behind. That's what I told you. So either way, any internal micro bearish SMT that is put in, once the draw is predefined, I'm expecting price to go all the way back up here to these highs for tomorrow. Maybe after, or maybe during London session or Asian session, that might end up happening. But yeah, that was pretty much the trade for today. I want to see this play out, and that's gonna just end up just playing all the way back to these highs. We end up chopping for a while. We chop for a little bit, and then we build some momentum back to these highs. So if you're in that trade, that would have been a perfect trade. If your stop was at this SMT low, you've been protected the whole entire time, and you would have captured a nice trade. Now, when I trade futures, I usually trade with like 4 contracts max, maybe 5. And let's assume I enter this trade around here. Let's assume I enter this trade around here. I can't really do it here. I'm gonna have to leave replay mode, give you guys an idea where price was. And we could make like a decent 1.5k from that. Okay, 1.1k from that. Yeah, beautiful trade. I could see prices retracing down currently, and I believe that just price holding bearish for a little bit. I think London session is going to end up open up, and we're going to end up displacing price higher. And I think price is just retracing back to equilibrium of this range. So price may end up dumping back here and continue lower. But overall, I do want to see price end up taking out these highs very soon, just based on this higher time frame draw. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. If I talk too fast, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to do more of these trade recaps. If you guys enjoy the way I trade, the way I chart, let me know down in the comments. Yeah, peace out. Don't forget to join the Discord. It's free. Peace out.